All right. Welcome back to Geekset Rewind, our recap, rewatch, Easter egg breakdown show that we are doing. And we are on episode 3 of Secret Invasion. And this show is doing exactly what we said at the beginning. Like, the reason, again, when we was talking about espionage like stuff, and I was like, I just love a show that when we watch it, we get answers to questions, and then we still end with more questions. Yeah. Like, this show is really doing that. And then I feel like we are the only ones noticing how black Nick Fury is in this season.
You don't think nobody talked about it yet?
Because I keep on floating it out and bringing it up, and everybody's like, "Oh man, yeah," and I'm like, hey, is nobody else noticing this?
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury is what we calling him. So man. So
that's such a wild name.
Nick Fury.
That's such a wild name.
Damn, he got baby daddy. Like, bro, he got. I mean, not baby daddy, but
let's get into this. Let's get into this synopsis and everything, and then we'll break everything down. So. All right, this episode is called Betrayed, which it felt like 100% everybody's betraying everybody.
I was betrayed.
Right. Gravik reveals to the Skrull Council that he intends to create Super-Skrulls, use the collected foreign DNA, and that he has sent rebels to infiltrate the Royal Navy in order to launch missiles at the United Nations aircraft. Gravik later meets with Talos to negotiate a parlay, but the discussion breaks down when the former threatens to kill Gaia. Gaia secretly sends Talos information about the attack while Fury meets with him and pleads to work together again. Fury contacts Falsworth and learns the name of the Naval Command Headquarters officer in charge, Commodore Robert Fairbanks, Bob, as Nick said. Fury and Talos arrive at the headquarters to interrogate Fairbanks, but the latter provokes Talos into killing him. Talos contacts Gaia, who acquires Fairbanks' authorization code, allowing them to abort the launch mission in time. Gaia attempts to run away, but Gravik, who suspects her of betrayal, shoots her and leaves her for dead. Meanwhile, Priscilla secretly contacts an unknown person wishing to speak with Gravik, but is denied. So, Didge, you said a couple of people didn't like this episode. How do y'all like this episode right now? Where y'all at?
I enjoyed it. Like you said before, it definitely got a lot of questions and it answered a few things, but I can't understand why someone wouldn't like it, because a lot of people, they don't like the mystery aspect of it. I think that's what a lot of people who are upset about
it ain't getting to where it need to be at for everybody else.
People love mystery until they gotta deal with the mystery, because then they get impatient.
Yeah, it's the impatience. Yeah.
And I get it, because there be certain shows I'll be like that too. Like, I like a good mystery show, but certain ones I just like, dog, let's move it along. But I think this one, it's feeding you enough that I'm happy with it.
Well, it's 6 episodes though, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, usually by the 3rd we should know really what the fuck.
And I think that's what people are saying.
I think that was probably.
Wait, should know what?
You should start know at least really knowing
what's going to happen.
But we do know what's going to happen. We know that a war is about to happen 100%.
You knew that from 1. So I feel like there hasn't been a trigger yet to really know that we kicking. Like, if you like I would say, like, I'll probably skip ahead or whatever, but I'm like, if they would have got the missiles off, then we like, all right, bro, they started some shit now. We in like forward, no, we couldn't save them, so we got to really go in.
Yeah.
But because you thwarted another attempt, it's like, all right, bro, now what's gonna happen now and forward?
But so to be fair, you missed on one and then thwarted the second.
Yeah, because that's the thing. They hit on the very, very first one, the very, very first attack. They hit. So here's my other perspective of it, and the reason why I think it's moving perfectly, because Secret Invasion, the very, very first thing that they introduced us to was that these Skrulls are bucking against the system, and they can turn to everybody, right? So you get that immediate threat, right? And you see one who goes crazy. And then in episode 2, they drop the bomb like, well, there's really 1 million of us, and we have people everywhere. And Nick Fury's like, I don't know who the fuck to trust, right? And then in this 3rd episode, you start seeing the cracks. You're like, oh shit, that person's a Skrull. Oh shit, this person might be a Skrull. Wait, you can't trust this. So I was like, I feel like they layered us perfectly. It's like you got introduced to, oh shit, anybody can be a Skrull. Then it was like, oh shit, really anybody can be a Skrull, and they are actually crazy. To now you're like, okay, now I'm trying to figure it out. And it's like, oh shit, okay, this person, this person. And I was like, for me, I like that pacing. To me, I think that pacing is A-okay.
I feel like that's just Skrull pacing. It's really like it doesn't really push the story. It pushes the story, but it really just defines how strong this invasion really is.
Knock that camera when you did that. Yeah.
Like I feel like that's really what it does. Like I feel like that's what you described. Like it just really kind of pushes the envelope on how huge this secret invasion really is. Like, cause you do, like you said, the second episode we hear like some million of us, and it's like, all right, bro, but y'all gotta be spread everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then you see the third episode, it's like, nah, nigga, so we can have a whole house full of these niggas in the heartbeat. You know what I'm saying?
And like the fact that, like I said, they're pro like the not because here's the thing, each episode has given us a mystery that we had to break down, right? You know what I'm saying? In the first episode, it gave us the mystery of, oh shit, some of the Skrulls are not. They are upset with Nick Fury. So now we got this faction that we got to figure out who's a good Skrull, who's a bad Skrull. The second episode, it introduced the fact that, oh shit, you know what? There's a million of them, and some of them are in high-ranking positions. So it gave us that. And this one, Betray, is like, oh shit, some of these may be the ones that, like, who betrayed Nick? Who's a good guy? Who's a bad guy? So it's like, to me, that's how I'm judging these episodes. It's like, are you giving me a mystery? Are we trying to figure it out? Because like, me and Didge was talking about this earlier. I'm wondering what implications will this show actually have amongst everything. And I'm like, I don't believe that I don't know yet, so then I don't believe it. Like, I'm wondering how ambitious this show is going to be. Is this show going to impact just the Marvels, which seems like the most likely? Like, whatever happened in here is going to transfer into the Marvels, and then you may get like Easter eggs every now and then, but it's not going to be as big as the Secret Invasion comics. Or are they going to be that, you know what I'm saying, that ambitious? Yeah, and everything like that. So like, I don't know, but that's the new question that I have now. Like, how ambitious is this show going to be?
But I mean, Secret Invasion is supposed to go into Secret Wars, right?
In the comics,
I thought they was in the timeline of Secret Wars.
Well, and so yes and no. And that's to say, in the comics, Secret Invasion impacted everything, front, past, and future. Right. It made you go back and say, oh, remember when we was like, yo, this is kind of weird? Because like, well, the way that the writer did it, they retconned the same thing like here. Like, it wasn't, Secret Invasion wasn't the overall plan, but once they started floating around the idea, the writers were smart enough to say, ooh, let's find moments. And like, now when you go back and read those comics, you're like, this person was a Skrull. That's why they was acting like this, right? So I'm wondering, are they going to, like, is this going to have that same type of impact or not? That's my new thought process.
I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be. I feel like the answer that we really want to know is like if it really was any of them in the Avengers, you know, like in the superhero. So I feel like the answer that we should get is, I feel like. I feel like Nick should know that there's an Avenger Skrull.
By the end of the series, he probably should. I don't think he would know because he just learned that there's a million of them.
Right.
But I feel like an Avenger Skrull would have probably, like, if he would have chose, because we know he's been gone. But I just feel like because he knew, he knew about the Skrulls before he knew about the Avengers.
Well, he knew about the Skrulls that were loyal to him. That's why he was so upset at Talos when he told him the million.
Even in general, he knew that I go with Bacardi.
Like, he was already planning them.
Skrulls were a thing.
Oh, there were any Avengers. And even how Talos argued with him, like, nigga, we've been doing a lot for you for a very long time.
But remember, the new thing that Nick did not know, which is new, and I don't know if he knows yet, is the whole thing about Skrulls is I can mimic you. I cannot mimic the superpower beings. So that is going to be the shoe drop that's going to fuck up Nick Fury, because he's like,
which is a change from the comics, because we looked at that last week.
Yeah, and so when that is when Nick Fury's going to be like, damn, yo, any of these, because remember, that's the reason why he didn't want to call his friends. Remember when Rhodey was like, why don't we call our friends? He was like, nah, because I don't know. And they're like, what if one of them get compromised and now we got a super, like, he was like, I don't know. So it's like, there's Nick Fury is figuring out the same shit at the same pace as us right now.
Right. But I didn't know they don't share the powers though.
So in the comics it was, so any fantastical powers, they don't. But physical powers they could. That's why like Wolverine was able to be impersonated.
Okay, we did talk about
okay. So I don't know, the way he said it here sort of implied that no powers, even like the physical ones. Yeah. But they could also just be not counting those as powers. Like if you got a physical mutation,
Well, I gotta think-
or a physical thing that allows for you to be super.
And there's really no reason for you to have super unless you are aggressive, which is what Gravik is doing. Which, remember, this is all new to him. He was like, wait, there's people that's against me? And then, you know what I'm saying? Then he's like, wait, there's a million of us? Like, Nick Fury is figuring out shit just at the same pace as us.
I mean, it's definitely...
He damn near watching our reviews like, damn, I didn't even think about that.
It's definitely from him coming, from him getting back on Earth.
Yeah, so let's go into it. So it starts off with Gravik talking to the council and just letting them know, like, hey, I'm trying to make Super-Skrulls.
And I like I said, like I was saying before off air, I know he said he's trying to, but from the fact that we saw that he has powers already, I just don't think he wants them to know. Hey, some of us got it.
Well, that's why I think
some of us got it.
Well, I mean, he gonna test on himself first. I feel like.
Well, that's why I think it's two routes. Because what I was telling, when me and Didge was talking offline and we was talking about it, even when they get the power, like what made a Super-Skrull is he has multiple powers within him, right? Right now, I mean, if we're basing off the trailer, then yeah, we know he's going to get more. But as of right now,
we know he has the extremist.
We
power.
only know he has the extremist. That's the only power, right? Which may be why they're trying to create the machine, because the machine allows to put multiple in one.
Which, if they do all got that, because even in the synopsis, it said Left 4 Dead. If they do got it, then it shows why they may all just have that.
True.
Because remember, he healed immediately from running his hand through a blade. But sure, it's gonna take a little longer for a gunshot wound.
Yeah, and then it probably would be only his followers, because obviously we've seen
his top three.
His top.
I mean, you think he would have gave her the power?
I think until it seemed like she was pretty tied in until he started suspecting her.
So,
if he
did that, then why would he leave? If he gave it to her, he would know that she got the power.
Yeah, I think he would know.
Or she gave it to herself. I don't know.
She was snooping around that machine.
She snooped around a lot.
She snooped around a lot on that machine. Maybe off screen, she was like, "Oh shit, let me get that."
I'm going with the fact
I think she's dead.
Gaia was. I'm going.
I mean, we jumped ahead. Yeah, y'all know it's spoilers. So if you're watching this, you already know it's spoilers. But yeah, so you know what I'm saying. So once he told him about that Super-Skrulls and everything, so then the next scene that we jump into, which was one of our big questions from last episode that we finally got answered. Nick knew that he was fucking a Skrull.
Nigga Fury. Nigga Fury.
But they go back.
It also answers a question that we asked long ago in the podcast, like you said earlier.
I don't know if it answers a question.
It do.
It shows that Nick Fury made the decision.
It answers the question of how long is it gonna take someone?
But
it took him 3 years on Earth.
It took him 3 years. So in space.
We was asking about Star-Lord at the time. If it took Nick Fury 3 years on Earth, where he had the choice still.
No, it was 3 months.
It takes
3 months. Star-Lord was like, "Hey,
bro, damn near that weekend. He got in on Monday. That weekend was like."
I mean, he was with pirates. They put that nigga on. You know what I'm saying? They put that nigga on early. Like, fam, you ain't finna get no real ass out here. Little nigga like got to laugh at you. Like, he like, where the humans at? Boy, humans. Like, humans. Star-Lord dude, he was on early. Nick was like, so you can change into anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why Nick said.
When he walked in, he was like, I'm waiting for somebody. She like, yeah, I mean, who you waiting for? You like, how she look? You like, hey, it depends on the day. Like, y'all is some role play.
That mean he knew. That mean it wasn't even like she had to convince him. By then, he was already bought in.
He just didn't know that was her or not.
Right.
That's he was like, I don't know if that's a Skrull or not. He was like,
I'm just having a convo.
Until she turned the ring over, he was like, okay, all right, I know who y'all.
Just had like, y'all role play, you nasty motherfucker.
I know who y'all.
And I said, meet me at the diner and figure out who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all nasty.
You gotta have a little fun in life, dog. Nick Fury got a stressful job. Let him have fun in life.
Because he came dressed like date night. He had the turtleneck on. He was fighting. He came in, got his drink. He was like, hey, man.
She like, you like, fam, we talk about women changing their wigs. Boy, Nick had a real one. Like, Nick had a real one. Like,
you like human? You think the humans who we with Skrulls, we asking to go to be different guys and gals?
Fam,
I don't know. That may be a Nick thing. That may be a Nick Fury thing.
That's a Nick thing.
That's a Nick thing. So then we jump in, and this is kind of weird. It was like, we start seeing like, yo, this turned to a BT movie quick.
Oh yeah, because they was arguing.
Because
it got very BT.
Like yeah, he like, yo, like first they just like having this awkward moment because I guess Nick ain't been home in a while. I mean, we know why he hasn't. But then
that's how we get the answer of really how his timeline's been too.
Yeah. So, but then Nick he started grilling her because remember he just got that. He just know that people in the higher rate, he like, I don't know who to trust. And so he's like, yo.
Oh yeah, he got on her too.
He like, yo, you talk to Gravik lately? You know what I'm saying? You talk to your boy? Your boy?
After he kicked him off the track, I remember he already kicked.
Then I was right after
Talos.
kick
So
Talos
so
on
he's
the
still on
train.
the high energy. Like,
Yeah.
it's muting you motherfuckers, and that came home already to you.
Yeah.
And you ain't told me shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
he ain't came home yet. Remember, it seemed like last episode when
He first came home.
right, that's what I'm saying. She ain't tell him then. So
It was
he,
the next- it was the next morning.
Yeah. So
The
now
next morning.
he saw her. He saw
Now
her
he
first
slept
day.
on it. He thought about it.
Yeah. Then he went and talked to Gravik, and he like, what is $1 million a yard? He like, I know she knew this. I know she knew this.
He
Like,
you talk to your boy lately? And she like, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, she told us like, you know, when he got when he got dusted, she grieved him. But when he got blipped, he immediately went back out in space. Which again, we was asking like, what happened when Nick Fury got back from the blip? Like, what?
Well, remember at
Yeah,
the time, we didn't think he had a family to be
We
set for
definitely
that.
didn't either.
So we just thought, okay, yeah, he went around in space, all right. The people, cause remember the government knew.
Yeah, the government
So we like
knew.
the people who needed to know knew.
Yeah,
this nigga
yeah.
ran from his responsibilities, fam.
Bro, if we find out this nigga got a half Skrull kid, this shit losing all its ratings from me.
Because then
That
she
shit
get
losing
she
all of it.
Because then like she grilling him, he grilling her, and then she get a mysteriously call. She talking kind of cold, and he like, hey, you know that's important. She like, nah. You know what I'm saying? And then he looking at the phone. We like, this nigga about to go through the phone.
He about to figure out who
Like,
that
bro,
is.
what is going on?
But I mean, and I
I definitely think he went through the phone off air.
you know what? But that actually makes sense when we get further, you know, go through the episode, because that could be his leak of how he figured out there's somebody in the high ranking
probably,
from that phone call.
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
I would have. I mean, Nick.
He didn't know who it was.
He probably didn't
but
have
that
to
also
plan.
answers our question for the end of the episode.
Also, here's the thing. Nick didn't have to go through that phone. It's Nick Fury. That nigga made a call and said, hey, I need transcription. I need AI. Just show me what that last
Unless
call
she
was.
playing the cold long game of she knowing what would happen if fam figured out.
Well, see, that's the thing about espionage movies in general. Like, and when you're dealing with extreme threat, because it's like, all right, there's going to be people that's trading against the good guy, but there's going to be people who's playing the traitor against the good guy because they're really helping the good guy.
Yeah.
And we can't never find out until the end.
I don't want them to treat Nick Fury like this nigga was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about if you tell me by the end of the season that his wife been fucking on Rhodey while Nick been in jail.
That's not what I'm talking
Nah,
about.
we ain't talking about
I'm
that.
saying That's why
We just don't. We don't
already
know.
assumed
We
that's
don't
what
know
Rhodey
if
was
she's
doing.
We don't know if she's with. We don't know. We don't know if Rhodey's with Gravik. We don't know if she's with Gravik. We don't know if they still with Nick Fury, but they acting like they with Gravik,
Right.
so they can. We don't know until the
it wouldn't be
reveal.
out. We already assumed that might have been what Rhodey was doing. Now we sort of kind of leading corner that Rhodey's just a Skrull. So it would make sense that we still do need that person.
Yeah,
like you said,
there
that's
gotta be somebody
who is playing the double agent.
One that we don't know, because like with Emilia Clarke, we see her and
Right.
we know that she's playing the game.
Like, it's
right?
obvious double agent,
It's
yeah.
obvious, right?
You need the secret
We need
double
the one
agent.
that you like. Oh shit! I think that person was a double agent.
You got to build it up to like where you super against them,
Yeah.
and then you get the call, and it's like, oh shit, damn, they is on our side.
Yeah, because like I said, so I mean, as we continue to go, like I said, we get to Gravik grilling Gaia.
Right.
And then, you know what I'm saying, because of what happened in the last episode, but he's like, yo, Pops want to parlay. We go, you know what I'm saying? It's about you. You know what I'm
I
saying?
ain't never heard parlay used in this way.
Really?
Like,
What?
as aggressive as that conversation was,
That wasn't a parlay.
that's what I'm saying.
Well, no, that's not a parlay.
That was
I
a
thought the
fight.
nigga was saying party. That's what. Like,
Yeah.
you want a party, nigga?
Yeah, that was not a
That's
parlay.
what I'm saying. Like, as
Yeah.
aggressive that one was.
Yeah. So
But he
when,
was really not here for it. Like, you really want to fucking talk to me? All right, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. You know what I'm saying?
If it would have been way more calm, these niggas I felt like they both knew going in that parlay mean fight for us.
It was definitely gonna be like,
I don't know.
like it was real beef.
It was real beef that whole
It was
scene.
real beef.
Because when we get to the scene, Gravik first, he's scoffing at this British.
He looks so
He's
smug.
he's
every
smug and
single
he's
moment.
scoffing at this British painting, and like he let you know he's like, man, he's like, bro, it's a difference. There's niggas in the field and there's niggas who take photos. He was like, if you come down to taking photos, I don't want that shit. My shit in blood. Like, dog, he was talking.
Yeah,
he was talking some
he
King Von
nigga,
shit. Nah.
He definitely the nigga with a Killmonger speech, fam. Like, you
He
know
was
what
like,
I'm
okay,
saying?
that shit in
Ass
blood.
off, some blood, huh? He was-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he was like, and then, bro, even the setup of the conversation, because they was at the painting, and then he was like, "Hey nigga, you said you want to talk, nigga. Come on, nigga, let's talk then, dog."
That's what he's like. They was talking about this painting. He was like, "Boy, I'm about to. You know what? You want to talk, right? I want to whip your ass.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to whip your ass.
I never heard it. They knew. I feel like they knew that it was for a fight.
Bro, old girl brought him his coffee. He was like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Like,
he was really.
He was nice to her. He gave her a thank you, love.
No, because that was the moment you said, "Why everything seems so smug?"
That's just because he's just smug in every situation. The nigga,
poured the sugar aggressive. He was like,
That's really like he was calm for that small moment to say thank you, babe.
But
Then right back to like aggressively pouring sugar. You like, what the fuck wrong with you?
He
Like,
can ask you what's the weather, and I was like, bro, you want to fight?
"Yeah."
like I think that's what it was too. I think what's the name? Was it Talos wasn't being as like apt with him at the picture. That's why you're like, look, bro, all right, so what you really want? You really want to talk? I was ready to fight right here, right now, right here. So you're like, let's find this goddamn table then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because even with the talk, he like, what you want? He like, man, I want you to stand down. He like, man. He like, bro. He's like, you wonder why they picking me over you. You know what I'm saying?
Because you ain't even trying to
life.
fight.
He was like, yo,
right.
And then he got the poking him. He really was trying to. He was like on some, hey, hit my hand shit. Because he like, hey, your daughter in the car. You want to see her, nigga? You want to see her?
Yeah, he was definitely doing some
like,
shit.
I mean, he was like, you know what I'm saying? And then he did Talos. He snapped on him, and then like, even while I snapped on him, he was like, bro, you lucky I ain't bring her back to you in a body bag, nigga.
Like Talos got a moment where he got choking that nigga, but I'm like,
but that's where and obviously I know that's jumping a little ahead, but when you were saying how Talos is gonna become a liability because he never want to kill a Skrull, we seen what causes him to snap.
Yeah, well, it caused him. Yeah. It's his daughter, obviously, because we see it in both two different scenes. But that again, we saw two things that we got introduced in this scene. After one, I guess we didn't really realize that a Skrull can make multiple of himself. Because when he stood up,
I don't get how he.
I don't get how he never brought it, but it's
I just didn't think about it.
Right, just think about it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but that's why even in the sense where we were trying to say,
but that also showed up in the trailer, so I knew that.
We knew that was going to happen in the trailer, but I'm saying,
but I feel like that made sense to me because, like I said, once you broke it down, even for me, once y'all broke it down, like there's taking the face, but then there's also taking all the memories and everything. So it's like if they already got the Gravik body up, it's like, bro, I just need y'all to all
look.
You got to walk by in a single file line and take a look and keep going.
Because I feel like it's like wardrobe change. Like once you get attached to it, like once you get that. Like,
I think it's in
then
there.
you can kind of shift with how, like,
back
the body,
and forth,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel like, like you said, the memories make it stronger, maybe, or like, you know,
I think the
everything.
memories is just so that way when someone actually talks to you.
True,
Yeah, somebody know who you are. But I mean, like I said, for the scene that he had, he just wanted everybody to, which was still stupid, because I mean, like, nigga, y'all all ain't the same nigga, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's why Talos she was asking, you was like, why ain't Talos like, he's still talking cash shit? Because Talos, remember, he been in the battle. He's like, look, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I can beat your ass. So if I can beat your ass, I can beat all these niggas' ass. Like, that's to me, that's the energy Talos was giving me. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely would have been like, what the fuck does this mean?
Now, I think that was just supposed to show, like, nigga, you surrounded.
Oh, well, I mean, that too. I mean, I get that was a big, but I'm like, you could have just had all them niggas start
And I just thought about this. What would have stopped Talos in his tracks if he would have seen the extremists? But remember, he didn't pull his hand, because remember, Talos stabbed him and he was bleeding.
Yeah.
And then when Talos left, that's when he took his hand out and we saw the extremists. But I was like, I bet you because remember, at this point,
Talos thinks that you can't copy powers.
So if he would have seen that would have really stopped him in his tracks.
I think that's why I said when we were talking about it's gonna be somebody else that they run into.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the perfect time.
That would have been the perfect time because like
so that was for us to see.
Yeah.
But they gonna end up seeing one of the
somebody got to see it because like I said, Gaia when she did it, because also we skipped one part, but when they was driving to there, when Gravik got the call, he kind of let go information. As we see, he did it on purpose. He let go the information only to her because he was like, he's like, this wasn't a failure. I needed to find out who my traitor was. And so she did something smart. It was all fabricated. So that's why it blew up in her face, because she wrote down the information on the phone. We assumed that she gave a text message because when Talos was walking out, this old man bumped into him and gave him a phone. And we was like, oh, she didn't send a text message.
I think that's what like Gravik been of course trying to find it out because he was chasing that person.
Yeah.
But by the time the truck and everything passed, he was in the car. Like
and the
waving
person
him
was
down.
already outside, so it was like, damn, that could have been him right there or not, because he was on the outside of the car. So it's like, all right. And then we get another disrespectful moment to Nick Fury, because Nick meets up with Talos.
This one was disrespectful.
Man, I don't care what you say. It was disrespectful, dog.
This ain't the car scene. This is the one we made
the
him.
restaurant.
We made him. Yeah, I forgot about
At the restaurant.
That one was disrespectful.
Yeah, this was
Because he
big.
come with
That was-
they was jonesing because he was like, you eating that trash breakfast? He's like, nah, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? First it was like just regular back and forth and everything like that. And
He was first of all, what we forget is the fact that Nick Fury. We have to. The context of this is that he went to see Talos after he kicked this nigga off the train.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that he ain't
Right.
seen this nigga
Since he kicked him off the
he kicked
train.
off the
since he
train.
told him that there's a million niggas, and he said, "Fuck you, fuck boy, get the fuck off my train." Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now,
Not his train.
I'm just saying.
Hey,
no, I know.
He
It's
doesn't
Nick
look
Train.
like he
That's
did
Nick Train.
stuff.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
Nick Train.
Like,
at this point.
not to mention that he saved his life in the beginning of that train scene
Yep.
when they was looking for him.
And
But
then he also already he's suspecting his girl. So he's like, bro, I don't even know what these scrolls is on. Like he off scrolls right now in this moment.
So yeah, so that's what
but
he come
they
in.
Jones is regular and everything like that. And he's like, bro, hey, but and then he's like, get the business. He's like, hey, real talk though, hey, this a nigga, somebody higher ranking. He here, we gotta find him out. And Talos is like, nah, I don't know, bro. Like it was the energy. Talos
Yeah.
killed the energy, like, man,
I
bro.
mean, when your guy did you that dirty, you are a little off
And
for a
think
minute.
about how this nigga. That's what I'm
And
saying.
think about how he
The
came
nigga
back like
came.
shit ain't- like
Yeah,
shit
like
didn't
nothing happened,
happen.
bro. I
So
got some news. Nigga, like,
So it's like it was a little disrespectful, but a lot of it was warranted.
Yeah, but you just told me that's their relationship in the car.
But sometimes you step over that line.
Yeah, sometimes you step over the line.
Sometimes you go a little too far. You like, hey, bro, I'm off you for a little bit.
So he was like, nah, man. He was like, tell me that you useless and you need my help. And Nick gave him a look like, nigga, boy.
I mean, Nick was running his own little plantation, fam. They like, look, we fighting back.
That means Nick eventually tell him.
back.
He
You know what I'm saying?
eventually tell him, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when Talos.
Which was good, you know.
That's when Talos tell him,
He
you know.
had to. You know
Yeah,
what
and
I'm
then that's when Talos tell him about the, you know, saying the submarine that's gonna shoot the missile and knock out the airship, which is supposedly supposed to call World War III. Nick, of course, using his resources, he knew exactly who to call. Which again, bro, everybody's off Nick. He really has no allies. Like even
The nigga was gone for 5 years.
He's in it, bro.
I'd be off dude
Like-
too.
like,
you
bro,
acting
you-
like he was gone on purpose.
Bro,
He
his
was.
yeah.
His wife said you came back and left.
He came back. The nigga
For all we
fled,
know now,
bro.
he
He
left.
fled, bro.
Like-
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and like I said, they answered our question where it's like, this nigga wasn't here for the fucking end game. They helped direct
Right.
it.
The
Like, they
nigga got
came
back-
back and he said, I'm about to get gone. Like, y'all fighting.
The nigga
Or
got
the fucking
back.
Thanos. What?
The nigga got back from the flip like, hey, beat me up. Beat me
Niggas,
up.
niggas said they all good. Niggas said everybody. That nigga told they like, you ain't gonna go help this nigga. Everybody came out. They don't need me. They don't need me. They don't need me. Send me back upstairs, nigga. Like,
I want somebody to edit the end game. And end game. I want somebody to edit the last scene. And then far in the back, you see the circle open. You see Nick look like, oh, they got it.
They got it. They got it. Come out that last second. Ooh, oh, y'all already got a handle. You know what I'm saying?
No,
We're
you
going back.
you gotta have him looking in the like the Spider-Man one, like, oh shit.
Look at that.
I want him looking like. They got it.
Yeah, like, yeah, he definitely like that's what I'm saying. Like,
I
so,
want him to come back when Cat get when he say Avengers. I want him to be like, oh yeah, they got it.
That's what's like I said, like what's hurting me about this series, as much as I love it, is the fact that they're like I said, they're niggifying Nick Fury.
Dog,
They breaking him down to the smallest molecule. Like, bro, you having women trouble. The niggas that you thought was your like, don't nobody want to fuck with you no more, fam.
Bro,
You ain't did. They like, bro, you ain't did shit, bro. We did all this.
the car scene is the perfect because, like I said, as he figured out, he like old girl. She like, look, I got some other shit I'm dealing with. His old girl that was doing the stuff
interrogation.
the interrogation. She like, from
and what she
somebody.
knew, that's what I said, because I remember asking, she American or whatever.
She was like, somebody leaked my location.
British,
I think.
She was like, somebody leaked my location there, so now I got to figure out who my leak is, so I can't help you. She like, but I can give you bro's name. So when they driving, Talos and Nick. Also, the writing in this show is amazing. The dialogue that we can see, like, cause you gotta think that dialogue between Rhodey and Nick was amazing. Rhodey and Talos in the train was amazing. This one was
Fury and Talos.
Fury and Talos. I'm saying, yeah. And then this one as well. Like, Fury and Talos is in the car, and they kind of having a like.
This is
what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
No, this is the one where you gotta tell your nigga like, bro, you take a lot of stuff that you ain't letting the people who help you get there.
You real cat.
You're doing a lot of stuff, and you act like it was just you. We was there with you.
Like, we was shooting in the gym. Like, you wasn't the only one.
But just like any nigga moment, it starts off from a simple just a simple disagreement. Talos is like, man, I don't really get the dog thing. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, best friend. He was like, I mean, like, what other species relationship do you see somebody picking up another man's poop? And then Nick was like, I mean, shit, I'm doing your shit. I'm picking up your shit.
Nigga thought he ate.
Remember what I told you? Like I said, every so often, one of your niggas, they look at that line and go, boop. And that's what happened.
Because even Talos' response was a nigga like, I know you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, he was laughing. He was like, what, that's what you think you was doing?
Bro, I said, you calling me, because for one, you calling me a dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
For one, you calling me, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, y'all got Nick acting out of control, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he talking to these niggas like they ain't nothing, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, dog, like,
and one thing we also learned too, and again, that's why I was like, Nick, he missed his opportunity because Talos started reading that. He was like, bro, he was like, wait a minute, let's talk about, he was talking about that. He was like, fam, he was like, bro, you started moving up the ranks when you learned about us. He was like, and then when we gave people loyal to you, anytime you got a promotion, nigga, that was us.
Bro.
Anytime you needed spies and you needed information, nigga, that was us.
Told him he
and
started.
then the way he kept it off, he was like, and I'm not even looking for a thank you. I was happy to help, but don't rewrite the shit like I wasn't there when the nigga that was there with you is right here.
Well, you was a bum ass. You was a bum ass nigga. like them nigga. He really told nigga, I met you as a bum ass nigga,
right.
bro.
Like Nick, he missed his at least get back. Cause he should have been like, I mean, yeah, but like, nigga, y'all didn't tell me about Hydra. Y'all didn't tell me about Hydra.
But I think when Nick found out, they're like, shit, I might have. Sometimes you're like,
you do.
I was a little out of pocket.
Cause the way they had that nigga like that, when they pulled up, that nigga was just sitting.
He was stewing.
Right, cause that's that he was all right, you got me.
Cause his get back wasn't even really a get back. It was more of a petty. He was like, hey, why you stop? He was like, oh, we here. He like, oh, Bob's out? He like, yeah. The guy that you was talking about, when you was talking about, we here.
All of that felt like,
bro.
all of that felt like, damn, that was a damn, my bad.
And then even after, he couldn't hold on to it because, like I said, they doing that mission. Talos get discovered. He's like, my cover been blown. He's like, yeah, bet, nigga.
Yeah, I bet it.
He's like, shit.
I felt the nigga did this shit obviously. Like, bro, I mean, whatever.
Like he didn't back him up. He didn't tell him like, no. He didn't give him no intel. He's just like, all right, yeah, watch this nigga, this goofy nigga.
That's what you wanted, because he wanted to have that point at the end where he's like, I saved your motherfucking life, didn't I? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was like, bro, like Nick. I was like, dog, Nick is acting like a real, like this nigga is irritating, bro. He toxic as a fuck. He's like, cause that's what I'm saying. Even with his girl, like this nigga, like you ain't saying I miss you. You ain't. He like, who you with?
Who you been talking to? Who you been talking to?
Who you been talking to? You know what I'm saying?
What's been up while I was gone?
Yeah, like
so as they going on their mission, they can say they find bro. You know what I'm saying? And dog, I feel like this episode also could have been called disrespect because he talking to Talos like. He's like, man, he's like, why you side with Gravik? And he's like, bro, you should have sided with me. He was like, nigga, you can't even, like, bro, you couldn't.
Yeah,
we caught your ass. I caught your ass. Nigga, like, you couldn't save yourself. He was like, bro,
he said you couldn't even save your daughter.
Because it was funny.
He was like, bro, he was like, you ain't been that nigga since, like, it's like, he acknowledged that he was that nigga in the war. He was like, nigga, you was shelling yourself. Like, bro, I ain't following you.
It was funny, though, because he definitely got his karma back real quick. Because he was choking the shit out of Gravik.
Yeah.
And then Nick came to that door, that nigga was red.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it's bad that you got the gun in your head, but I'm like, is this nigga really choking
bro,
his nigga
choking
so
him out. And like I said, again, this is the second part where we found out his trigger. Because as he's talking shit to him, he's like, "Nigga, you couldn't even save your daughter." And then Talos, like
Nick shot him first though. Nick,
Nick shot him.
Nick shot him in the knee.
Yeah, Nick shot, but that's when Talos really was like, you know, because Talos been on that
He
no
didn't wanna
gun,
kill.
no doing that shit.
Yeah.
So he really got on Nick really again.
for
Like,
sure,
bro, I
Nick.
told you about, because they already had that in the last episode where he shot. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I thought it was gonna be.
Episode 1.
Yeah.
And was it 1?
When he shot, when they was fighting the dude in the.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It might have been. It was either one or two, but they definitely, like you said, had.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what Nick was telling him too. Like, fam, we ain't got time for this.
Yeah, and
you know
so when bro, like I said, talk like on some. Don't talk about my daughter. You talk about his daughter.
He told.
Shot him in the chest.
He told Gravik that.
Yeah, he did. He said, he said from this point on, keep my daughter's name out your mouth.
Yeah, he choked him up. That's what I said. That's why I was like. That's why I said, I mean, this nigga, that's definitely a superpower. That's his superpower. Because when he heard that, we saw that he can definitely beat Gravik. Apparently, you can beat shit out of Gravik right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, Gravik also didn't fight back, but that's why I'm saying I feel like if you know Talos, you like, all right, I mean, I ain't gonna disrespect him because that nigga is battle tested.
I mean, he battle tested.
You know what I'm saying?
But he really ain't trying to fight no more.
Like I said,
I was gonna say every time we see Talos fight, he get a good hit. He gets some good hits on him.
Yeah.
I feel like when he got caught though, I feel like that was really old to me. Like if you really saw his takedown, I was like, boy, this nigga really do look a little step short. You know what I'm saying?
Because you ain't battle tested. You ain't training every day.
For 30 years.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't training every day no
that
more.
That nigga wants to be a peace.
Peace, man. Because remember when Nicky asked you like, why you ain't go with Gravik? He like, bro, I ain't go with Gravik because I'm with you, cuz.
Because I ain't trying to fight.
I ain't trying to fight, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? They stopped the mission. And everything like that. They obviously Gaia is the one we realize also. Apparently, you can just comb through people's memories like a computer. Like
that was wild.
Yeah.
They was in that bitch.
They definitely Black Mirrored that shit. Like fast forward, rewind, go through like
this.
Because once Talos killed bro, he needed the code. And then I'm like, well, shit, if she didn't think Gravik knew, he knew now. You know what I'm saying? And then this is when we get the big reveal because when she's escaping, you know what I'm saying? Gravik sees her and he shoots her and kills her. And we know and this is where the confusion comes.
This is
because we know that the Skrull is dead. Right? We know the Skrull, no matter what, that Skrull is dead. However, Emilia Clarke, who's the face that Skrull chose, is like, all right, we've seen scenes in the trailer that hasn't been shown yet. So it's like, okay, what? And then it's also the third episode, and it's Emilia Clarke. It's like they killed her off fast.
Even the way that description read
it said left for dead.
Like that every time, just knowing stuff, like just watching stuff. If they don't explicitly say,
let me see if they said if Maria Hill did they leave her for dead in that first synopsis.
Double check that.
But I mean, I also feel like if y'all really want that that double agent look, I feel like that's
how you do it.
That's gonna be part of Gravik plan.
They say
a Gaia.
They say killed.
They say Gravik disguised himself as Fury and kills Hill.
That's what I'm saying. So it's the left for dead. And if we're going with what I was saying earlier, the theory that they at least already started experimenting with his I don't know what you want to call it, like his inner circle.
Yep, because they even said kill Broggan.
Yeah. So like if we already thinking of the people in his inner circle may already have, let's even say if it's just the extremist power, then we saw how quickly a knife came out.
Yeah.
That's a knife just basically got to stitch this up. She got shot in what we think it might be the heart. We don't even know if the heart is right there.
Right.
That's gonna take a little longer.
But now even what y'all saying, because like I said, we know that she was shuffling around in the in the lab or whatever.
Yeah.
That she might have went this bow.
Yeah, and he may not even know.
He may not know. Yeah,
but she might have went this bow to get caught. Cause she like, now he gonna really think I'm dead.
Yeah, so now you ain't expecting me at all because you think I'm already dead.
So I mean, so I can agree. I think you were saying like she probably took it. Cause I mean, like I said, y'all were saying that he might have gave it to all his people under him or whatever.
Well, I don't know. That's what Didge's theory.
Your idea make more sense
Didge's
though.
Theory.
Even if he did give it to, let's say he did give it to its inner, and she's not a part of it, but she might know.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of I always try to look at all those foreshadow moments. So like the fact that we saw her in that distance when he was like when they was talking to everybody in the lab, and she's so far, like she knew it was already something going on there and knew about all that shit.
But see that's why I mean, if I'm going with your theory, then is I feel like his upper, he probably gave them all one power because the whole research and the reason why they're building that machine is to give Skrulls multiple powers in one.
I don't think the Super-Skrulls. I'm just assuming extremists because that's the one we saw.
Yeah, I think the true Super-Skrull ain't gonna probably be until by episode 5. I think it's gonna still be Gravik.
I think
what he's doing now is trying to give people a power.
A power,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's gonna realize like he gonna need more.
All of them.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because of course you ain't gonna want to. Gravik ain't the nigga that's gonna make everybody equal, bro. He want to be over everybody.
He definitely want to.
That's why I said his inner circle.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think it's
but
like
even if it was the inner circle, just giving them all one strong power,
Yeah, it could be
like the strongest power. Because like you got to think, as a Super Skrull, if you're like, these are the 4 powers that we've seen on the computer. After a while, you're like, oh shit, I can grow. So now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna build my team, or I need to give somebody Captain Marvel's powers.
So they gotta. It seems like you gotta.
Well, no, I'm just using it as an example. Yeah. I'm just saying you gotta get the power. So like, I feel like, you know, as an overarching villain thing is like, if you were really building that, yeah, I'm gonna give all the Skrulls powers. I've still got all the powers in one, but the big heavy hitter powers, I'm gonna give it to my elite forces.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because
I wouldn't even put it past the 4 that we saw. Is gonna probably be the 4 individual powers we're gonna probably see with somebody.
Yeah, because they was already high-ranking visual people in the. They remember that's the United Nations.
I don't think the council getting the power. I think its inner council is. I think his name is Pagan.
Yeah.
Him. Maybe the black dude, because he be in all the.
But we seen the council in the thing, so we know they're Skrulls.
No, but I don't think.
I mean,
they not the fighters. So it really hit the inner circle.
You're right.
I hear what you're saying.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying, because that's what, like, I feel like that's what I think that you were. For a minute, I was thinking that's what it was when he brought them down in the room, talking about we gonna make Super Skrulls.
Yeah.
But I feel like even from hearing you, it's really knowing, like, I'm not giving it to y'all political motherfuckers, but I'm telling you that we finna have an army now, of Super Skrulls.
Okay, right, so then the last scene is that when we see Priscilla, she get a random text message. She opens up a lockbox key. Goes to a bank, open up a lockbox, open up a pistol, and then she get a call, and she's like, "Yo, where's Gravik at?" And he's like, "Nah, you got me." And it sounds very much like Rhodey on that line. And so now the new question is, all right, is Rhodey with Gravik? Is Rhodey a Skrull? Is she a Skrull? Are they both with Gravik?
No, she a Skrull.
Well, I think are they both with Gravik? Like, what now is like, what the fuck?
Like, I feel like that's the ending. Like, I feel like how the episode's called Betrayed. I think that ending is really the strong, because we like, fam, is that gun for Nick? Like, who was this?
Right.
Like she's the one now.
That's the betrayal that they're talking about in the
she's
title.
the one where we don't know, really, like you said, we don't know who she, where you came from, what part you been, because we already even have her having her argument of saying, like, I grieved you twice.
Remember that she's I'm going back to myself.
But we also didn't know that Rhodey was talking to Gravik like that. Remember when Nick and Rhodey was having a conversation, like, Rhodey knows about Gravik, but he was telling him, like, yo, Gravik is the issue. When she called, she said, I need to speak with Gravik. He's like, well, you got me. As if, like, he reports to Gravik.
Well, that's why, like I said, I remember we were thinking that maybe Rhodey was the Skrull, but, like, also on Nick's side. One of those two, I think, are. One of those two are the double agent, the secret double agent that we're talking about.
Between Gravik and
Rhodey? Between Rhodey and his wife.
So here's...
Between Rhodey and Priscilla. And Priscilla, right?
Yeah. So here's where the big, and this is where I'm wondering, because one of the biggest, not Easter eggs, what I'm thinking of, plot points, like theories that I saw was that Rhodey is 100% a Skrull and he's on Gravik's side. But because of how we've seen it with that pod, the real Rhodey has not been in any of these fights. They like literally the theory is since the Don Cheadle change, it's been a Skrull. And
that'd be funny,
right?
I would love that.
Yeah.
Like,
so this is my fan theory is we get like if they brought back Terrence Howard, I'm okay with it. Just let him, like, if they did it and they said he was a Skrull. But the theory is that even if it's still Don Cheadle, is that we're going to get in the movie that he's in, the Armored Wars and everything, we're going to get a Rhodey essentially being Captain America style. This Rhodey he hasn't experienced Thanos, none of that, because he's been in that pod that whole time. And that the reveal is going to be, yes, Rhodey is a Skrull. Yes, he's on Gravik's side, but the Rhodey that we never really seen Rhodey, because he's been in that pod this whole time. That's the biggest theory.
I always thought, the fact that we all agree that this Rhodey is a Skrull, and he said it himself like years ago. I was put onto this.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm in my mind, it was already like, well, the moment you trying to say you put on is the moment the swap. The moment the swap.
So, but that's gonna be what's gonna be crazy is because then if that's the case, all the relationships and everything that we've seen, That Rhodey is not going. He's not. He's. They're going to have to put him on like, about Thanos, about the ring, about everything.
The memories. I
feel like it's going to be transferable.
Like they might just download.
We haven't seen humans get memories transferred back to them.
We don't know what the Skrulls can do. We just realized they can rent the fucking videos. You know what I'm saying? Niggas can rent like a cutscene.
But I told Didge, I said
season 5.
Edit out there what they want. I want that early shit.
But I told Didge, I was like, I don't like Terrence Howard as Rhodey at all. However, if they did that and they said, "Yep, that's why," it was like we just didn't see it and they just didn't see it. But in real life, the reason why, like, and Terrence Howard is coming back. I told Didge, I said, even though I wouldn't want him as Rhodey, I'll allow it because I'm like that would be dope. I would like allow that.
That would be a very wild thing to be like, because then that would make Rhodey literally the canon event for the whole MCU thing.
Yeah.
Like the moment that we swapped, as a world, we saw a different.
But here's the thing,
Rhodey, but they all saw
the comics. They kind of did that. It was kind of like that big impact. It was like, oh shit, and it went back. So if they want to do, because here's the thing, with Rhodey, if they did that, there's really no big major moment with Rhodey that we've gotten so far that it impacts the story that much. Rhodey is the anomaly that you can really play along and get crazy with, that it doesn't change anything that has happened.
If they do that, then Terrence Howard is the greatest secret keeper ever.
He is, because he's been mad. They've been paying this nigga at the table for a long time.
I feel like he's had statements.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he the greatest of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
But
if we get Maine at the end,
I just want him to pop up at the end like, gotcha, man.
Oh, you know, man.
I'm back, man.
No.
Bro, I'm turning it off.
I'm back, man. I'm back, man.
Like, if y'all tell me this nigga, if y'all put that nigga in Armor Wars, I'm gonna be pissed, bro.
No, I would allow it. Normally I wouldn't, but because of that and because of this, it's like nobody saw that coming. I'd be like, you know what? I'll allow it. Let's go.
That's a wild thing.
Terrence Howard and Rhodey moving forward.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that is the only, because for one, it was such a wild ass fucking like. Why would you like we knew, I mean, as far as like television wise and movie wise, we understand why they swap, but it's like it was just the fact that y'all was able to do this.
Do you remember how they revealed the change? I recently went back on it. The way they did it also, again, it can fit in it because remember, it was right after he said, "I'm Tony Stark," right? And so in the second movie, he's on trial. Well, not necessarily on trial, but they were like, "What is this weapon?" Right? And so he's sitting there, and then everybody stands up because Rhodey walks in, and you see the back of Don Cheadle, and then when it turns, and then Tony goes, "Rhodey?" And he was like, "Look, it's me. I'm here. It happened. Get over it." And then it just moved forward. That's all they do. And I said,
I don't even remember them doing that.
Yeah.
They wild for that shit, dog.
They took a page out of Fresh Prince.
That's all they did.
They wild for that shit.
I did it. Let's move. Right? And so, again, it's also, like.
We still got a podcast an hour.
I know. We're at the end.
We have to set all this
We're
up.
At the end.
I got sure we'll get to another tangent.
Yeah. And so, it's it's a way that they can really go back on that and just be like, hey, we kind of told y'all, like, you know what I'm saying? Because even Tony, I mean, in the moment when we watched it, we assumed Tony was just like, why are you at my trial? But like, it could have been like, Rhodey? Like, all right, fuck it. You know, it happened, right?
That would be, that would be wild.
That would be too much.
That would be smooth. It would be really smooth.
And that's why I would allow it. That's why I would allow it. I'm like, you know what, fuck it.
It would be really smooth.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
How many Eagles y'all giving this episode?
I give it a 4. It was definitely slower than the last 2 episodes. But it was still a good episode, and they kept the plot moving. I
give it a 5, man. I really fuck with this episode. Like I said, I mean, again, I'm not even comparing it to the superhero shit. It's all the espionage shit.
No, it's great espionage.
Yeah, and so that's why I love it. I feel like
that's why I give it a 4, because it was just too much nigga shit going on. Like, the espionage was like there, but then there was like a real thick center, like nigga.
It was a thick nigga in the moment, bro.
There was a lot of, Paul. There was a lot of thick nigga shit going on.
Shout out to Dion Lack. It was a lot of Thusky.
A lot of Thusky.
A lot of Thusky. Thick and husky shit going on, bro.
Get me out of here.
I couldn't. So it's like I didn't need to know about this nigga Baby Mama Troubles.
Bro,
And
Stop calling it baby mama, because I'm gonna be mad if he showed with a half
we
scroll baby.
haven't seen the baby yet. We haven't seen Nick Jr.
Fuck boy energy, I would say.
That's fair.
Fuck
But
boy.
you put it into the brother that needs to be a half scroll baby.
Calling his alien friends dogs. Like Nick Fury was a menace this episode.
Bro, he was
So
a
that's
piece of work.
that's actually what I want to know. We talked about it on Star-Lord, and that was on the main podcast and everything. But now that this has been
Nasty
introduced,
Nick.
in the comments, let us know how long will it take before you start dabbling in Skrulls?
This nigga, I'm mad still about that. I'm sorry, I know. But it's like, I said that. I said this nigga had day naps. This nigga could have been on anything in the work.
They ain't had date naps.
They had papers, nigga.
Bro, they had the hotline.
They had the hotline. Like all this coochie in the world.
The hotline could have been Skrulls.
All this coochie in the world. You want some alien coochie?
Skrulls?
Listen,
I want to know how long before you start dabbling in Skrulls. I also want to know again, who at this point, who are y'all thinking is a Skrull? Who do you think is on Nick's side? Who do you think is on Gravik's side? And I want to know y'all opinion. If it turns out they bring back Terrence Howard, will you be okay with that or not? I want to know what y'all think on that.
That's why I hit the ejecto seat.
That would just be irritated. Like
That's right.
I would be okay with it.
That's
I wouldn't
right.
be irritated
Ejecto seat.
lightly. I would not be irritated even a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you. I normally wouldn't want it. I don't like Terrence. I think Don Cheadle is significantly a better actor as Rhodey in general.
Yeah. But I also feel like
But I would be okay with this.
what I would take, and without having Terrence Howard come back, would that it was actually even that further back, that the Terrence Howard was a Skrull as well, and then he just swapped to another roadie. So that's why it's like the more like why he like so it's like so that's why they like
So you
wrote
see-
it. It is like yeah.
They got better. They got better at they looked at the wrong person for. Oh shit! Let me get this right.
It's like they didn't like that roadie. Yeah. Like,
But as always, this is the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together, and we are out.
peace.